I'm Panini Pete, a professional chef with small-town roots and a passion for one-of-a-kind places. I'm day tripping down the back roads and main streets of America to prove that small towns are extraordinary destinations, each one rich in history and full of happiness, where people care about people and treat you like one of their own. They celebrate life, tradition, and one-of-a-kind food culture. So join me as we gather all the local ingredients to serve up a big helping of small-town flavor.
Watch my body fall from high as I took to the sky. I'm still here and my body's bound. Wandered bare like I was born through the misty morning corn, hiding and so alone.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bardstown, Kentucky. Just had a wonderful night staying in the Lincoln Suite, and we are here at the Talbot Tavern, where 232 years ago, the road for Western travel ended right here. This was the last stagecoach stop, and this is where our journey begins.
Well, the road it is long, and my stride's getting short, and the wind.
The old Talbot has had many names since it was erected in 1779, which was a full year before the official settlement of Bardstown. Abraham Lincoln visited as a young boy while his parents stayed here during a court battle over a land dispute, which ultimately led to the family moving from their Kentucky home to Indiana. Perhaps the most notorious guest was none other than the famous outlaw Jesse James, who during a drunken delusion shot up the walls of the tavern hunting imaginary butterflies.
But today, the Talbot Tavern operates as a full-time bed and breakfast with a full-service restaurant and pub. However, if you can't get a room here, go right next door to the old Nelson County Jail. It served as a jail till 1987, but today they're hosting a much more civilized clientele at the old Jailer's Inn Bed and Breakfast. But if you stay there, watch out for those imaginary butterflies.
Whistle, it sobers me then. I'm staring at my shoes on the platform again.
Well, you know, the history of Bardstown is a true American story of triumph and challenge. This downtown is a living storybook to that history. So we're going to take a stroll and learn more about it. And here to help me with that stroll is one of Bardstown's best storytellers, Dixie Hibbs. Pleasure to meet you, Dixie.
Thank you.
You're a writer,
I am a writer.
preservationist,
Yes,
former mayor of Bardstown.
Former mayor.
Tell me a little bit about how the town was founded and the early settlers.
This was a planned town. William Bard was a surveyor, and his brother, David, up in Pennsylvania, owned the land that this town would be built on. And they knew the town would be worth more money if somebody was living on it. And Mr. Bard, William, went down to the Falls of Ohio, what we now call Louisville. And he's on the southern bank when 300 flatboats come down that spring of 1780. So he talked them into coming, 33 people came.
And that's when it started.
That's when
33 people started Bardstown.
Started Bardstown. Now, we have 11,700 now.
I'd love to stroll around.
All right.
Eventually, I'm looking for a little breakfast this morning, but I want to hear more about the history.
Okay.
And
Well, let's
the
go over and let me
buildings
show you
and
the
see what's
oldest
going on.
building still on Court Square. Okay? This house over here to the right is stone and brick, and you can tell the different size of the windows versus the other side. That was built before 1788. This was also the site during the Civil War for the Union to have a recruitment.
So how is this home being used today?
Well, today it's been renovated to make a really unique restaurant. Not a large restaurant, but a lot of atmosphere, very good food, gourmet food. They took the floorboards up and they used those to make the tables in there. So there's recycled all the things they had to do.
I would imagine they modified the kitchen a little bit.
Well, they had to, yes, they did. We didn't go on the open fire anymore, kind of thing.
Well, it is gorgeous.
But it
Show
is
me
a nice,
some more.
some more. Well, we have lots of
Keep
things.
rolling.
this building is here on the Court Square. We've had a lot of buildings taken down all around our town for service stations and parking lots and all, but we've been very fortunate to have over 100 buildings before the Civil War still here.
And your involvement in the preservation, I'm sure, has helped that as mayor and probably people before you. That's one of the biggest things with small towns is progress and that balance between progress and preservation.
You know, recycling and the greening of America and all that is so into right now. We've been recycling here a long time. We've been reusing these old buildings.
Well, I can't help but notice this big building right in the center of the square. So you got a good view here. Tell me more about this, please.
Well, this is the Nelson County Courthouse. This was built in 1892. It's called Richardsonian Romanesque. It's really Gothic in design. And now, of course, it's a center of tourism and Chamber of Commerce, planning and zoning. I want you to notice another monument we've got here. Jon Fitch was a native of Connecticut, and he came out here as a land surveyor. He was captured by Indians. He had the idea of taking steam and putting it so he wouldn't have to have a horse, that the steam would move the wagon. The only problem was we didn't have any roads. You don't have any roads, the wagon won't go. But then he looked at our rivers, and our rivers were the roads.
That's where all
33 rivers in Kentucky.
Wow.
So he put the steam to the oars, to the wheels, and in 1788, he had a working steamboat on the Delaware River.
Fantastic.
That's 20 years before Fulton would have a working steamboat.
What we call 3rd Street,
Third
and
Street.
Has always been 3rd Street.
Always been 3rd Street.
Beautiful setup.
It's the main street going north like you're going to Louisville. And it's always been our business district. There were bakers and grocers and shoemakers, all these different little openings, little businesses were all in these buildings up and down. Of course, the Spalding family here has been selling merchandise since 1856.
Since 1856, the Spalding family.
Actually,
in this building.
During the Civil War, John Hunt Morgan's men were here overnight. They went in and decided they wanted hats and they wanted jackets and they wanted things. They told the story about the man who came out with like 8 hats stacked on top of each other on his head. He was
So they occasionally donated items.
not very happily.
Yeah,
not very
not at all.
happily.